Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, I rolled my ankle walking down a grass banking because I'm an idiot, and it's still not healed, so no riding from me this week. However, this week has coincided with the 15th year anniversary of Danny Macaskill's Inspired April 09 video, and as per request on Patreon, I'm going to do a reaction video to it. Now, before I get started with the reaction video, I just want to do a slight little bit of history of Danny previous to that video and Danny's relationship to me. Now, I've previously lived with Danny for 8 years, so I'm really good friends with him, so I'm going to be a little bit critical maybe of some clips in this video, only a couple though. Now, as for the history of Danny Macaskill, before April 09, I had actually heard of Danny just briefly. I'd actually, years and years before that video, had to give one of my frames from a sponsor to this random kid from Sky, and then he went and used that frame to have a kind of viral video already called Tarty Bikes, where he was riding this titanium global frame, and he got a couple of million views on that even before April 09. So I was aware of Danny, I'd seen a little bit of his riding, but I wasn't quite fully aware of what he was capable of. And then obviously the April 09 video came out and the rest is history. So as a professional trials rider myself, I'm gonna take a look at Danny's video and go through what I think is really impressive, what could have been done better, and basically go through why this video went down so well. Just to warn you, I am going to be stopping and starting this video frequently just to explain parts about it, so if you want to watch the full video, I'll link it down below. I'm pretty sure every one of you has probably seen the video already, but if you want to see it uninterrupted, go down, click that link, watch it, and then come back to this video. Right, here we go. Okay, right off the bat, I just have to mention the song, Band of Horses, Funeral, absolute masterclass of the perfect song to use in a video. Nice and slow, then to a massive build up towards the end. And it was perfect timing as well. In 2010s, this was peak music, so an absolute excellent choice. It's also worth noting that Dave Sowerby, who filmed and edited this video, is an excellent filmer and editor, and also an excellent BMX rider. He's actually got an edit of him riding BMX in Edinburgh, and it's got some of the best timing to the riding to music that I've ever seen in any video. So if I can find that, I'll link that down below as well.
I'm coming up only to hold you under.
Classic Danny, he's not afraid to modify stuff, move a sign if needed. Right, I'm gonna actually blow my own horn here, because that box next to the spiky fence, I have been and have tried this line, and I managed to get up that box with no kicker, and I'm actually super stoked on that. I did it two ways, managed to hook it, and also managed to get up to back wheel. Now, Danny could easily do that. Danny can out-hop me any day. And the only reason I think he's using a kicker is because he was trying this line over and over and over again, and the spiky fence was the main part of this line. Getting up the box is just a means to the end, and if he's having to do so many attempts at this, I think it's 4 days worth of attempts, hopping up onto that box every single time would be exhausting, it would be knackering. So yeah, to get to the actual good bit, I don't blame him for making the first bit slightly easier. Oh, and if you're interested to know, no, I didn't make it all the way across the spiky fence. I got about halfway, and then I was like, I didn't fancy having a battle, so I was like, that's good enough for me. I don't need to prove myself, so halfway, that was good enough. I also didn't want to do that. Just such a tricky line, it's horrible because of the line from the box onto the spiky fence. You just have to get your back wheel right to the edge of the box and almost just tweak it onto the spiky fence. And if you don't get that lined up, then you're gonna have a bad time. But yeah, look at him. Foot off, all the way across. Awesome. And he is now super well known for that spiky rail. He's got that in the demo rigs with drop and roll, and people go nuts for that part. So I think that one single line really impressed a lot of people, myself included. I love that clip, that 180 over the roadside rail, nicely shot, slow-mo, super nice. And it's just a big commitment as well. 180ing over a solid object that doesn't move out the way like a bunny hop bar. That's scary, like that is really scary. Even if he did maybe have a slight kicker there or something. I'm not saying he absolutely does, but it kind of looks like it. That's a scary line, so yeah, that's real nice.
Morning to wake you is all we got.
The other thing Danny's really good at, and this clip I think shows that, is he's not afraid to attack stuff backwards. And that's one thing I've always struggled with, is going backwards towards stuff. So his commitment to 180 up the first steps, you're basically committing to go backwards. You can kind of spot where you're going, but also slightly blind. And then, yeah, just the full commitment tie tap from the top of that thing. It's not a small thing to tie tap down. I've been there. It's massive. So yeah, really cool. That's a really cool clip as well. A long line. Long lines are really hard to do, because if you mess up just one thing on it, then you have to redo the whole thing. And yeah, to do all that and then have a massive 360 stair drop at the end, fair play. That's a big stair set. I've been there, I've seen that. Absolutely zero chance I would ever try that. So yeah, he just cruises down it. That's what he does for fun. That was one of the first hop tail whips ever done on a trials bike. I'm not saying it's the first one, but it's one of the first ones. And if you notice, Danny actually does them opposite. He kicks with his front foot, and technically that's not the right way to do it. And I don't understand how he finds that easier. He says he really likes to be able to pedal kick and push at the same time, whereas I find it, not that I can do them, I can get close, but pushing with your back foot the normal way, I think it's just a way easier way of doing it. Right, I love that clip. That is super impressive to me, to just get that front wheel accuracy on such a narrow rail, because he's basically committing already to it. I think Danny's really good, like I mentioned earlier, going stuff backwards and even landing backwards on his front wheel. It's just having to land on such a skinny thing and pivot on it. That blows my mind. Even now, there's no way I could ever do that, even on something small. And to do it on something that big, that actually blows my mind. That is one of the most impressive things in this video in my mind.
Every occasion once more, it's called the funeral.
It's interesting seeing Danny do these 180 hops. Oh, quiet down there. He's actually pedal kicking into this, whereas these days I'm more likely to see him bunny hop into it. You do get maybe slightly more control to pedal into it, but you get style points for bunny hopping into it. So it's just interesting to see how his techniques evolved over the years. Okay, so that clip, I know personally, Danny has told me is one of his least favorite clips in this video. I think it was maybe just a bit of a filler, or he'd done it maybe slightly better and then couldn't quite get it again. I can't quite remember. But yeah, he wasn't quite as happy with that one, and I can kind of see why. It's a cool clip, it's a hard line, but he kind of goes off at the end and has to correct the direction he's going. So yeah, it's hard. I wouldn't be able to do that, but I can see why he wasn't happy with it. So that's a committed line. And what makes that even more impressive for me is that's Danny's kind of opposite way. Being a left foot rider, he would want to hip to his right, whereas that one is having to hip to his left. And I don't think Danny spins opposite, so he had to basically spin his bad direction, to do that line. So yeah, fair play. Another massive 360 stair set. Yep, no thank you.
I'm coming up only to show you down for, and coming up only to.
Not my favourite clip in this because he does a couple of extra hops. Like I said, I'm being a bit nitpicky there, but that is a tricky line. Danny's really good at the 180 hops, and to continue that 180 just a little bit more, land on the back wheel, keep it on the back wheel, and then send quite a committed gap back up. Yeah, that's a tricky line. I'm not sure how many attempts that took him, but if that was first try, I'd be quite surprised.
Show you roll to the outside.
So I've ridden that tree as well, but yeah, I did not do a flare off it. Again, I think that's one of the lines that really captured a lot of people's attention, imagination. And I actually went and did a bit of work filming in one of the trail centres in the woods. And I remember saying beforehand, you know, we're not Danny Macaskill. We can't maybe do the same stuff he can do, because they essentially wanted Danny but got us instead. And I remember as soon as we got into the forest, they said, do you think you could backflip off any of these trees? Yeah, we had to explain that no, we can't just backflip off any tree. So yeah, that one, really, really cool clip, really cool tree just to go up and blunt, but to flare off it, yeah, fair play.
The dead leaves lay on the lawn, for they die.
Right, that clip, the wall ride to the bike rails, gapping it, that is the single most impressive clip in the entire video. I remember seeing that and my mind was blown. And even now, I'm like, that is so, so cool. Not only is it hard, it's just inventive to see that and think it's doable and then actually be able to do it. That's one thing I've always been impressed with Danny, is his imagination, his ability to see lines in a place where you might not see a line. And that is just proof of it. To do that, it just takes so much commitment just to know to hit that wall just right, to bounce you just right, not get too angled so you slide, not go too short so you fall onto your face, not to go too far so you fall to your bash guard. Just the precision for that, and then to get onto the rails and ride along. So impressive. That is my favourite clip in the entire video. Danny's ability to do fakie nose rolls blows my mind. Now, if you've watched my videos for a while, you'll have seen that I struggle quite a lot with fakie nose rolls. I find stoppies way easier. Going forward is so much easier than going backwards. And I think there's a theme there of going backwards. I'm not very good at it. But yeah, Danny's ability to catch on the front wheel and roll backwards on the front wheel pretty much as long as he wants is very impressive. And even to this day, I'm so impressed with his control on that front wheel. Nuts. So Chris Ackrig was one of the first people I ever saw do fakie manuals, or some people call them fakie wheelies, on a bike. And that absolutely blew my mind when I saw Chris do them. And Danny must have been impressed as well. Danny's really, really good at fakie manuals, fakie wheelies. I think he uses his back brake as much as he does just pedal pressure, whereas I use strictly pedal pressure. And I find sometimes my control isn't quite as good, whereas Danny seems to be able to catch it really well. I just don't have that fine finger control for the back brake going backwards. So yeah, Danny really good at going backwards on either wheel, apparently. That is just such a short clip, manual along that rail, but I love that clip. Manuals are fun. Manuals along skinny rails with a drop to one side are not fun. That is really scary, and he just absolutely nailed it. Really cool clip, and it only takes like 2 seconds or something.
Every occasion I'll be ready for the funeral.
So that is a really, really cool spot in Edinburgh. I've been there with Danny and I've seen firsthand him just absolutely ripping around that thing, 360ing off stuff. And it's scary, you know. I've tried some stuff, I managed to hook up some of those things, but to go at that speed and 360 off, no, 360's never been my strong point, whereas Danny, again, just does this stuff for fun. So yeah, it was quite a pleasure to watch him just shred that thing.
It's called the funeral.
That is also really, really cool. I love that kind of stuff. Again, going back to Danny's ability to see lines where others might not, that's not an obvious thing to ride. It's all wobbly, and as he rode it, it moved. But that's what makes it really, really cool. And the fact that it did move and he goes and put it back into place, that is a really cool clip. I'm really impressed by that.
Every occasion, oh, I'm ready for.
That is a ridiculous 360 drop down the stairs, and if you notice, the bike makes a hell of a racket when he lands. Apparently he broke his rear axle in his hub doing that, and yeah, I'm not too surprised. That is hefty. And then yeah, brilliant editing, showing people come up and have a look. Just the wow factor, yeah, really, really cool. So those two last clips aren't my favorites. The hop over that rail probably is a lot worse than it looks, but compared with everything else in this video, it kind of, yeah, it lacks that wow factor, I think, that you get in a lot of these other clips. Right, I'm gonna call him out there because he does a bitch crank off that, and I'm not sure if you've seen, but one of the first ever videos I made for this channel was the unwritten rules, and one of the main points I made in that video was bitch cranks. Don't do bitch cranks. If you can't hop it, then you shouldn't be doing them. However, in Danny's defense, that is his opposite direction, so it just adds a little bit of more control with the pedal strokes, and especially on something high and narrow like that. Maybe he gets a pass for doing it, but I really would like to have just seen a straight bunny hop off that rather than on the cranks. Sorry, Danny. Right. He makes up for the bitch crank with that tail whip across the gap. Really, really cool clip. Never seen anyone utilize a tail whip in trials like Danny had at this point. There'd been people who had just done like hop whips, but to take it across a gap, really, really cool, even if he does do them opposite. So that's his bunny hop gap across the roofs where he used to work, the bike shop there. I think that gap is still there, and it's horrible, but it's one of the few things in this video I think I could do. Not that I'm gonna do it, but I like to think I could do that. That drop is ridiculous. It looks flipping massive. Danny, he said it wasn't actually that bad, but I don't know. That's insane. That looks maybe like 13 or 14 foot. How his bike or his body coped with that, I don't know. I don't fancy ever doing that. That is disgusting, but he did it so smooth. Fair play. Again, Danny's ability to catch a backwards manual. Great clip, no extra hops. Perfect. Amazing editing, building up to the biggest thing, the crescendo of the song, end of the song, nice. And that line is nuts, I've been there. However, I think I almost want to try that. I honestly almost want to try that because it's my direction, it's my good way. I'm right foot forward, that's the way I'd like to go. Danny did that opposite. So again, he's spinning his unnatural way. There's no way I would do any line like that size, my bad direction. That would just be disgusting. So yeah, the fact it's that big, it's that narrow up at the top, and he did it his bad way, that's really, really cool. And then having all the people come up, look over the edge, I think that really helped with the vibe of the video, just people just being blown away by it. So that is Danny's Inspired April 09 video done and dusted. Does it still hold up 15 years later? Absolutely. That is still some of the best, some of the biggest, some of the most tech street trials riding that's ever been done. Now there's a lot of really, really good riders out there who are good at going big or really good at going tech, but Danny just has that combo. He has the imagination, his actual technical riding skills, his technical trial skills is really good, and he's not scared of going really, really big. And I think combined with that song from Band of Horses really amplifies that video to the next level. Would the video have been successful with another song? Yeah, probably. I think the riding holds its own and would have been outstanding no matter what the song was. But the combination of the riding and that music, yeah, that was obviously a winning combination, as it's proved to be with about 40 million views. And I have to say as well, I'm glad it got that success. It's enabled myself to have a career, it's enabled a lot of other people to have a career from trials, and it influenced hundreds, thousands, millions of people to take up sport. Maybe not millions, that's a push, but I know a lot of you guys out there have picked up trials because of Danny, or have heard of trials because of Danny, and that's also helped me and other people. So yeah, I'm so pleased that that video got the success it was. I'm so pleased that Danny got the success that he has. Out of anyone who's got successful from riding trials, I'm glad it's Danny. Danny's such a nice, humble guy, good at riding bikes. He's just stoked about bikes, going out riding, and he's not been hunting for fame and glory like some other people have. He's not done any backstabbing or underhand tactics to get his fame. He's just a genuine, nice guy, really good at riding the bikes, and that video elevated him to the top of the podium, to top of the pinnacle of trials, and for good reason, because he is the best and is the GOAT of street trials. I hope you enjoyed my insight into Danny's video, why I think it's good, some of the stuff that's impressed me, some of the things that didn't impress me. Let me know down in the comments. Do you have the same thoughts? What's your favorite clip from that video? Did it inspire you to take up trials, or just get to know trials at all? Let me know down in the comments, because I'd love to hear it. Now, because of this song in this video, I probably won't be able to monetize this video. So if you want to show your support, join me on Patreon, or a simple subscribe if you haven't done already really would help. I have hundreds of other videos, so going and watching those would also be a big help as well. But I'm going to leave you there. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you next time, where hopefully my foot will let me ride a bike. So take care everyone, have an amazing week. See you later.